As part of our Heroes in the Heart of Virginia segments, I got to go out to Valley View Retirement to talk to a 98-year-old woman who was one of the first women to serve in World War II. Here's her story.
I joined the Navy because I wanted something different to do. It was only after I became a member and worked that I realized I was more patriotic than I thought I was.
And what were you doing during your time in the Navy?
I was in the hospital corps and worked in a naval hospital, 2 years in the operating room.
And so you were having to deal with, seeing our soldiers when they came back from the battlefield.
Yes, and a lot of them had been given basic treatment, but they had to come to a hospital like we had to get final help.
And what do you think you learned the most during that time in the Navy?
I realized I wasn't the boss.
And so for you being one of the, first women in our military, what was that like?
It was exciting. It's always exciting for you to be the first or within the first numbers.
What was some of the hardest things that you had to deal with during that time?
Seeing young guys messed up, amputated legs, things like that.
That's stuff that you really can't prepare yourself for either.
No, you cannot.
And so what advice would you give somebody if they were thinking about joining the military?
I would tell them to give it a lot of thought, because for some it's the best thing that could happen. For some it is not.
And what did you end up doing after your time in the military?
Well, I had worked for an orthopedic surgeon for, 8 or 10 years, I guess. And he came out of the Air Corps and reestablished his office. And when I was discharged, he wanted me to come back and work for him, which I did.
So you guys went in together for different branches and then came out together. Were your experiences any kind of similar at all?
Well, no, not really, because he was into the midst of it and I was on the borderline. But I have a little trouble considering what I did very important, because it doesn't seem like it was compared to people who were actually in the war.
But you were some of the first people who saw those people come back, and even just smiling at them was very important for the time.
That's what we tried to do.
And so do you think, working for the orthopedic surgeon kind of helped you a little bit?
Oh, yes, a lot. And my experience in the Navy helped me with his work when I got back.
So like you said, for some people it might not be the best decision, but for others it can be really beneficial.
And I think it's good if you have a little maturity. If you go in too young, it can be bad.
Well, thank you so much for all that you did for our country during those times.
Well, thank you.
And she was just the sweetest lady. She's at Valley View Retirement Community, which is located on Long Meadows Drive in Lynchburg. For more information, 434-237-3009, and you can go online to valleyviewretirement.com.